Miles Brand passed away again soon after a lot of these times when you and him were talking, and he was relying on you a little bit, and he passed away, unfortunately, of pancreatic cancer. Was that the end of it right there when he passed? Because it seemed like that was your guy, right? And you were his guy in a way. At least he was listening to you. When he passed away, Greg, did it end?
Well, I think in many ways I ended at that point.
Okay.
He passed in September of 2009, and I was there for a couple of years longer, really in hopes of getting both the media agreement done, which we did in 2010, and then onboarding whoever the new president would be at that time. And you know what? It was such a unique period. If you remember, obviously there was controversy and a lot of chatter when Miles came on board. His famous speech where he talked about turning down the volume of commercialism and so forth at the National Press Club. But also then he was known for firing some head coach in basketball. I can't remember who it was, but apparently somebody pretty well known. And so everybody had concluded that he would be a certain way. He really turned out to be, he was a trained philosopher. I can remember a number of management meetings when he would kind of get mad at us, senior management, and just say, "You're not here to just listen to me. You're here to challenge me. Mm-hmm. We're here to make sure we get to the right results. So if you're just going to sit and listen to me, you're working at the wrong place." And just from my background and perspective, that was an amazing style. That's what led to us starting to do, things with the NBA and having a more cooperative relationship. That's what led to us taking things on. And, he took on academic reform first, and that consumed the first 5 or 6 years of his time. And this, as academic reform got more into place, this wound up being one of the topics that he really wanted to get sorted out. And it was unfortunate. I still remember the final couple of conversations I had with him at his home. And he was apologetic. That he said, "I'm leaving you stranded as it relates to the media rights negotiations. And I'm just not going to be able to help with the likeness topic. I'm sorry we didn't get that one done." And so, at that point in time, really understood that it was almost a reset, and there was going to be a lot of work to be done if that was ever to see the light of day again.
Greg, when the O'Bannon lawsuit occurred, what do you remember the initial reaction being, and was there anybody maybe outside of yourself that realized what a ticking time bomb that was really going to be?
Yeah, it was taken very seriously. The NCAA, is the ready-made target for litigation on so many topics, so it's got to be kind of conditioned that way. But it took it very seriously from the beginning. My emails and various documents have always been kind of the first things introduced, and the depositions and so forth. I've had the pleasure of sitting through a variety of depositions, and to me, it was always very interesting. That was a very interesting experience because it was frustrating to the plaintiff often when I was being deposed, because my answers would be, I spent my whole time there trying to get us to talk more about it and to try and figure out what could happen. And so I was, kind of one of the outliers compared to, those who were having to, whose job it was to really interpret the existing rules and to kind of toe the line on that. So it was always very interesting. I know I frustrated a number of plaintiffs' attorneys because there just was no middle ground. It was very clear to me this was a topic that deserved discussion. There were solutions that could be found, but it was really going to require the right people to be set around the table and be patient enough to get it done. And it was ironic that I found probably the most patient of those individuals or those entities to be the student athletes by a large margin. They were wonderful about the topic, and I spent tens of hours talking with them about it.
Greg, we appreciate your time. I would